Right, good evening, welcome to New Horizons. If you do have a mobile phone, if you would like to put it on silent please, thank you. Massive welcome to Magnus Mulliner with 8 life-enhancing S's. Free for life. Magnus is, amongst other things, qualified in metabolic typing. He's interested in helping people live toward their potentials. First by teaching us what nourishes the body, both physically and mentally, and encourage us to make the necessary changes to achieve this. So, we must do something for ourselves. Real health isn't automatic or brought about by pharmaceutical products. Magnus has a way of reminding us what we could do to benefit the only body we got. Papers and pens at the ready. Magnus Mulliner, thank you.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. I feel like Madonna with this song. I've probably even got some curves in the same place. For those who are familiar with my work, hands up anyone who's been to any of my presentations before? Half and half, maybe slightly more? Thank you. Okay. There is a new edition, and nearly 43 years young, I thought I'd start with a picture like that. It's all about community, and I get the feeling with what was shared before, coming together with the information. It is challenging for those to turn off their televisions, perhaps, and stop reading tabloid newspapers. That's an invite. I haven't done that for many years. Whenever I go to my parents' house, they're always, and I can't compete with that because I don't read the Daily Mail, and I don't watch what goes on in the news. That's not to say that I'm ignorant to other things, but they're not important to me, who's with who and what's going on. And then, as you know, the media is controlled by 3 main bodies, so they'll tell you what they want you to know. Before I kind of get started though, what I want to do is, as always, for those that have been to my presentations, ask permission. What's the reason for being here? What would you like to receive? Kindly, your time is as precious as anyone else's. What would you like to receive this evening? What's the reason for being here?
Enlightenment. Enlightenment.
Enlightenment. Okay. It's probably a journey, that one, but thank you. Anyone else? What's the reason for being here? What would you like to receive?
Focus.
Focus. So much going on.
Creative knowledge.
This is just to prompt me to go through them. You guys, that's all right. Yeah.
How to achieve a nutritional balance for the body or something like that?
Balance. It's funny because this is probably going to be one of the few presentations I give where I talk about food. But detox. Inspiration. You won't get that from the Daily Mail. Anyone else? Usually the rebels are kept at the the front and the keen ones at the back. What's the reason for being here? What would you like to receive?
Enlightenment.
He's still going. He's still going.
It's a state of mind, it's not perfection. It's a place where you can perceive what is priority.
Right. I have met some enlightened beings, and I find that you could liken them into their own little planet, but the first thing that I find, which is towards enlightenment, is not to form a judgment. And that's one of the toughest things that anyone in this room would do, because you're going to judge me how I look, walk, talk, and all the rest of it.
No, we're not. We think you're a sweetie.
That's a judgment. Whether I'm good, bad, or ugly, they're all judgments. And one of the things you can do to move towards that, because I've read a few books and I've attended a few programs, and there's one you can do. It's called a Satori. Hands up, how many people have heard of a Satori? Just the one. Two. Well, do some homework on anything I remind you here. A Satori is an event where you go, I don't want to steal the thunder for it, you spend moments with other people and you're invited on a journey to find your truth. So you're not buying into any mantras, any dogmas or anything like that. And my example, when I was in Alberta attending a Satori, tell me who you are. And so it was backwards and forwards with lots of different people all the time. And eventually, wham! Something comes up. My enlightenment bit was, I don't give a shit what you think about me. But that was a lie. Because I do. Because every single person in this room, sorry, you keep moving around, every single person in this room behaves in a fashion to gain approval from others. I'll say that again really differently. Every single person in this room either dresses, talks, walks, behaves in a certain fashion to gain approval from others. And, as an addendum to that, some of these people you try and gain approval from aren't even stand. And you probably even, let's label them, hate them. And yet you're still there trying to get... Are we being serious? Being serious, and then it kills people. And that's why we're trying to move into Libya. Let's not be secrets about it. Enlightenment is a journey as far as I'm concerned, and don't get stuck there. Okay, anyone else before I suddenly open the doors and remind you people the 8 essential S's that will enhance your quality of life and cost you absolutely nothing. Going once?
The liver.
The liver. Very important organ. It's the second biggest one in the body.
Freedom.
Now that's an interesting one. A lot of people, they will focus on this, but what they're trying to do is become free from. And that's the problem, because there's a difference between freedom and free from. Trying to avoid things. But freedom, I believe, well, I point to this, where is the mind? The Buddhists say it's here, some people, I don't know. But freedom, to be mindful of, or if you're trying to be free from, or do you believe that you are free? Because you do have moments where you are. I'll go through these essays. I've got an honest moment for you, and some of the questions I ask are going to be rhetorical. How many of you people are happy with the way you look and feel? Hands up. Be honest. How many people? Excellent. Those that put your hand up, you will find are putting less nails in your coffin, and we all have them. Yeah?
Nails.
Is that what he needs coffers? Exactly on time. Fighting that illusion of reality causes stress. Everything that we're going to talk about, and it is an invite, is for you to, I always ask this question, is it possible or is it okay if I ask permission and challenge some of your beliefs and values? And everyone in the room always says yes, and they smile at me. Is that true? We'll find out. As a former academic, I've got to do it. I'm not going to insult your intelligence and read these. What I will say to you is that if you would like a copy of this, then please send me an email. The details are on the bottom there. Magnus at MT Energy. MT is for metabolic typing, and energy is just a play on word. It's an IE at the end instead of a Y.com. You probably didn't think this. There is an exam before you people vacate, and I'm going to give you your homework now. Is that okay? I'm asking permission. I'm not going to teach you anything, but I am going to remind you some of these easy to follow ideas which will, in my opinion, reverse your telomere lengths. Who's heard of telomeres? Hands up. Okay, quite a few people. You can liken them on these at the end of your shoelaces. You know when you get some shoelaces, a little plastic bit about that long, and over time as you wear your trainers, your shoes and they get eroded away. Well, your telomeres are connected to the end of your DNA strands. And obviously, as we age, environmental or poor lifestyle choices, they shorten. And so how long you're going to live ultimately is down to your telomeres. Now that I've mentioned that, when you're reading your Daily Mail, you may come, or whatever, you may come across it, or if you're on media. What I find, I don't mean to swear when I say this, but ultimately it's about taking responsibility. I'm glad no one's... That's what it is. That's what health truly is, taking responsibility. Just the other day I was standing in line as you do in the post office. I've heard this lady talking about bouncing from one doctor, didn't like the answer she got there, to another doctor, didn't like the answer, and so on. And to me it was like she was playing the part of the victim and not taking responsibility for her own health and well-being. And I wasn't in a position to say anything, apart from pass out compassionate and empathic love to her. The lady was about similar age to me, she was about 70 odd. But still, take responsibility. If anything happens to you, it is your responsibility, from tripping on a curb, except when it comes to fracking, which we know about and we can vote. Is this true? Schopenhauer once said, all truth passes 3 stages. First, we laugh at it. Secondly, when it comes to the fracking, perhaps that's where you are here. And then finally, it's accepted as self-evident. Most things you will find will go through those 3 stages. Most people I do find are in this situation here, surviving, getting through the day, rather than thriving. I work with many people throughout the globe. I have paperwork this thick I ask them to fill out, and one of the main things I want to do is seek to understand what's going on up here. And there's only 2 ways really I know to control your state of mind. One is how quickly you move, and the other way is by what you're thinking, what you're paying attention to. Remember, where your intention goes, energy flows. And if it's true what Dr. Deepak Chopra once said, we think between 60 and 68,000 thoughts a day, and up to 90% can be negative, although some of that is ancestral. So there's a lot of stinking thinking going on. However, when you're awake and enlightened, you can perhaps interrupt your pattern and change. In other words, whether you're shaving or whatever you shave, you will find you are asking yourself 2 primary questions. What does this mean and what shall I do? But for some people it's like, I can't believe she said that. I can't believe they did that. Do I have to go to work, etc.? How do you feel? This is about you and your state of mind. Interrupt your pattern, change it. What's funny about that situation? So you can control your state of mind instantly by how quickly you move, whether you move quickly or slowly, and what you're paying attention to, what you're thinking about. Welcome. We're going to talk about the 8. How you think, act, and feel. These are habits. We're very good at this. How many of you saw the picture of my young family? I think that's how I'm going to perpetuate my youth by having another child. No, that's it. No more. Second time I got passionate with my wife and I paid the price. Look what happened. So, how many of you people actually do this though? Or, as I mentioned before, is it this? Because in order to form this, you've got to try and do this. And the greatest teachers I have, and you saw the picture, are my kids, because I spend a little bit more time than other kids, because we're all children. We might carry the persona of an adult, we might even dress like one, but we're all children. To the degree that we forget that causes us stress. My wife will remind me, because sometimes I behave like I'm 16. So we want to control and predict things. We want to do that with the weather, we want to do that with our counsellors, we want to do that with the fracking. All the time we're trying to control and predict. It doesn't mean not to do anything, rather than just sensing and observing, because with that, you're then more enlightened and empowered to make smarter choices. But most of us live in the react. And if you find yourself reacting at any time, the mind is split up into two parts. You are going into what's called the subconscious. So just be mindful of this. So here's part of the homework. What I want you to do when you leave here, rather than trying to do this about your husband, your wife, your respective other, just sit back and watch. Like a fly on the wall. Does that make sense? It's part of enlightenment. I don't know. Good. So in which case there'll be no judgments and no more nails going in your coffin, and you will live up to 120, 130 years young. This is the first one. So here's the invite, and here's the homework, and this is the greatest challenge I find with people, because no one wants to be told SHIT, but they do want to hear what they already know. Is that true? As soon as you wake up, as soon as you turn on your, I call it like a computer, you know when you turn your computer, it goes through the ramifications. As soon as you wake up and you start to become conscious, all you've got to do is smile. And what I mean by that, because remember this is controlling your physiology. Remember I mentioned before, there's two ways of controlling how you feel. One way is your movement. And just by turning your mouth at the side, that costs you absolutely nothing, instantly you will start to feel good. But for most of us, we're stuck with our mouths doing that, because we're thinking about what the government's doing, or next door neighbour, or the person you work with, and so on. And please remember this, if nothing else. Anything and everything that occurs in your life is but a reflection of you and your level of enlightenment and consciousness. So if you do not like what you see, hear, feel, and those are just some of the senses that we have, that's because there's less peace. More peace out there. So our external is but a reflection of what's going on internally. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah? Do tell me if I come out with some profound sagacity on nefarious proclivities, which you don't understand, because I want you to understand. It's simple, basic stuff. It's none of this is complicated. Children, there was some research I read years ago, laugh over 300 times a day. Be honest with yourself, how many times do you laugh per day? It costs you nothing and makes you feel good. Who's heard of oxytocin? Yeah? Giving people hugs, I must have given a few since I've been here. I felt good just walking into the place.
I can't stop laughing.
And that's when you look in the mirror, and that is enlightenment.
There you go. That's amazing.
Laugh at yourself. Stop taking life too fucking seriously. I nearly swallowed it, but I didn't, because my wife said, you've got to behave yourself this evening. So just be aware of how many times you do this. And what you focus on, laughter. It's like wearing a pair of glasses, and I've done it before. I got somebody out. Somebody in the audience who would like to demonstrate this. Somebody close to the back who can prove 1 point, who's never been to any of my presentations. Who didn't put their hand up before? This will be fun. Come on out. Let's have fun. Come on out. Anyone? Yeah, great. Thank you very much. Give this man a round of applause. Okay. This is just an example of what happens in your life every single day. Take your name? John. Okay, turn on the face of the audience, please. Okay. What colour is that?
Floor colour.
Yeah. What colour is it?
Yeah, brown.
Brown. Okay, what I want you to do quickly, I'm going to give you 6 seconds, just look around the room, like it's anything that you can see is the colour brown. Quick, 6 seconds. Look around and behind you, everything that's brown that you can see. Quick.
Yeah,
And close your eyes. Okay. Now what I want everyone else in the audience to do is just to remain quiet. And please don't cheat, okay? I'm going to ask you in a moment to run through, in the order and sequence that you saw everything, that there was the colour blue, with your eyes closed. So don't open your eyes, okay? So everything that you saw in the room that was the colour blue, but keep your eyes closed. Keep your eyes shut.
I can't do that.
Keep your eyes shut, you can do that? Yeah. Okay. With your eyes shut, give me anything and everything in the room that you saw that was the colour green. Anything that you saw that was the colour green. Okay, with your eyes shut then, give me anything and everything that you saw in the room that was the colour red.
The church.
Well done. Keep your eyes shut, that's fantastic. Anything else?
The fire door.
The fire door. Okay, keep your eyes shut. Give me a colour, anyone from the audience, that you would like this gentleman to find. White. Anything that you saw that was white.
Ceiling.
Well done. Notice though, it's very sharp, that this is also going on memory. Okay? What about anything in the room that you saw? This will really throw him out. African violet, purple.
I think the curtains.
Okay. Yellow.
No.
Okay. What I want you to do is to open your eyes and notice anything and everything in the room that is the colour green. Anything that you can see is green. Point it out to me. Anything that's green with your eyes open.
Same colour. Yeah, the sign.
Got a few green tops here. First aid box over there. There are some flowers over there actually. I'll get back to the fake ones. Yeah. Green box, okay. Anything in the room that you saw that was red, you got spot on for that. Anything that you saw that was, I said African violet, but there's African violet. It's, one of my postcards was a rough brown. If you ever said purple, you get slapped. It's African violet, beautiful colour. It's actually to do with creativity. I used to have a band with that. So colours have got vibrations.
Not mauve.